Where bloody hell have you been? What's up YouTube? My name's Quickie, welcome back to the channel. It's a wide angle day.
He's back!
He's finally turned up. Finally. Months. Months. It is months. Well no, you have dropped off and you've seen it because you dropped off some stuff when you was going to get the girls.
Yeah.
But you've done no work on this in months.
No, I haven't. And I
Slacking.
I feel guilty.
Can you remember where everything is in the shop or do you want a guided tour again? Because you're on
coffee a bit nice.
You're on coffee duty all day, mate. That's you sorted.
Oh.
Right.
Sorry, YouTube.
Right, we have got quite a lot to get sorted, and I can't do it without all the chunky goodness and stuff because it needs sorting. Problem that we've got is
I don't come around.
this. This bit of the frame is Bandit. That's it. All the rest has been made. But we've also got GSXR running gear front and rear. So essentially this is just an engine cradle. The only trouble is that the headstock is part of it, and that's the bit that's cocking things up. So we know the geometry ain't right at the minute. We know we had issues with the rear shock, but that's all been sorted. So we need to get the bike set in the stance that we think it's going to be at. So we're sort of in the ballpark, we're close, and then we're just going to have to monkey with it, you know, when it's rideable and we can see what's what.
Yes.
All this lot needs to get measured, and we also need to set the bike up with you on a working shock and see where we are, and then I think we're going to need to jack the back up. I've got some dog bones that we can do there.
And then we bounce up and down.
You can bounce
my chunky goodness.
Make room noises and all sorts.
Wow.
So that's what we're doing, right?
Best get a set of clip-ons on the front of it then as well.
Yeah, you grab a clip-ons. I'm gonna, we need to do that before we get it off the bench. Right, clip-ons. Right, the pin's through, but it's not tight. Go on then, bounce up and down on it, see if it works. It moves. That is really low, isn't it? That is properly low. But it works. Yeah. That's a good start off a 10.
Can we put the tank on?
Eh?
Can we grab the tank?
Yeah, we're not doing all that. We're sorting out suspension. We'll do that in a minute. Right, so we need to get this measured and stuff first up. So let's, we need something to, that is really low, like really low. So,
Dog bone.
well, what we got to do, I mean, we know the forks still have to be serviced and everything else. There is going to be a bit of stiction there, but the rear shock has basically all been redone.
Yeah.
And from what you were saying before, I know you haven't ridden it a great deal, fine in a straight line, yeah, but ain't too happy going into a turn and stuff so don't turn. So essentially we need to get the back up, and I think we need to get the back up anyway because of the length of the wheelbase, right? So we've got some options with dog bones, and I've got different ones over there. And we can try those in a minute and everything else, and we can measure and see what the difference is at the front, because I mean GIXIT turns in and everything else quite happily. However, you know, different length swing arm, different wheelbase, different all sorts of stuff.
But if you remember, we're 70mm shorter on the fork, yeah, and 70mm longer
in the back
on the swing arm. However, you've got 40mm from front to back in terms of the adjustment.
Yeah, we ain't worrying about that.
If we put that dead centre, we were 50mm over because we had put it, yeah, slap bang in the middle at 20mm.
We need to get this up a bit.
Yeah.
In the back, and we need to try and get it closer to GIXIT than we do to GSF, basically. So that's what we're doing. But we also need to sort out sag, because that shock is all different now and everything has changed.
Yeah.
So we need to measure it all again, right? So, where's the slacker? Do you get on the bike from that side?
No, I got on the bike from the other side.
I'll go the other side, yeah. Right then, so if you steady the front, don't lean on anything, is it?
It's on 0.
It's on 0, right.
Hang on. Right, we'll square.
Right, so if I lift it up, then hit the reset button.
That one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's topped out.
14.
Something, yeah, hang on, something was, these pins ain't done up, but something was.
What pins aren't done up?
I think it's all just wound on. Right, okay, so topped out, static sag is, what do we say, 14?
Yeah.
14 mil. Right, come and jump on it.
Do you want me to 0 it?
No. I know we haven't got all the weight of the bike on here and everything else, but, so what are you reading?
42.
42. What are you reading?
43. 42.
Right, lift up a bit. Do it again now. Yeah, you've got to sit down on it gently. Right, go.
41. 40. 40.
Right, so 42 to 41. Sorry, 40 to 42 is the two extremes that we've had, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, so we go for split the difference, 41. 41 is laden sag. Our target to get, well, for a track, the ballpark figure is like 25% of the total shock travel. For the road, it's like 30, no, 25% on track.
Yeah.
30 to 35% on the road.
So if we've got 130 mil of travel.
Well, if you're setting it up for a track, you'd want 32.5 mil travel. Sorry, laden sag. And at the minute, we're 41, so it's kind of soggy. What's a third of?
A third?
Actually, we're probably not that far off for a road setup.
If you want a third of 130, that's going to be 43 mil.
So we're not far
So
off.
120, a third of that is 40 millimetres.
So as it's set up at the minute, that rear shock ain't too shabby as far as a road setup goes.
I think we maybe need to.
Well, we're there or thereabouts. We don't need it like 100% cock on blah, because it's always a bit of a. Can you move your foot? It's always a bit of a. It's just the start off a 10 basically. So
I've got no way, mate, of bouncing the forks really because I've got no front brake.
Don't worry, I can bounce it. That'll be fine. So if we go on here, right? Can you stand up and lift the front of the bike up? Well, actually, let me do it. All right, hit the button. So we've got 130 mil of travel on the front as well. So we need to find out what it is just static. So jump off, sorry. Right, let's just make sure this is right again. Right, so that's topped out. So 19 mil, 25, 21, 25, 26, lift it, put it down, 19, do it again, 17, 19. So We're going to call that 22 in the middle. So front static is 22. So if you now jump on it, mate, and do as you did before.
What?
Jump on it. Right. Yeah, hold on. 39. 31. 39. You got a lot of sticks in it. The forks still need to be rebuilt though, don't they?
Yeah.
Lift it up a bit. And again. Sarah, and lift it up. 38. I'm calling that 38.
Yeah.
So 38 in the front is laden. So we ain't actually that far
so
off.
130mm travel on these front forks, you would be looking at 43.
We ain't far off. And again, sag is only like an arbitrary start off a 10, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, jump off it. We need to bounce it and see what the damping's doing. Right, what you got to do is you're pushing there on the back of the tank, like that, right? Hard as you can. Ain't far off. Basically, just looking for it to come back together.
Yeah.
Right, so let's just. So that's that. So, given that, we know we need to lift the back of this thing up a bit. So, where's my rule? Where's my longer rule? That'll do. Pum pum pum.
Did you ever find your Zeus guide?
17 foot. No, God knows where it is. 17.5. Somewhere in here.
Dog bones.
Dog bones. Right in front of the camera.
They look nasty.
Now,
What length are the ones I've got at the moment?
centre to centre is about them. So we are going to want probably
20mm shorter?
I think these might, that's another lift kit there, so that's a 30mm lift kit. Right, so I've got a 20mm and a 30mm lift kit.
20.
Well, we can stick them on to start off with, and if we need to, we can always go to these.
Yeah, but
so,
I think 20mm, pulling it in so it's going to lift the back up.
yeah, but it's a case of by how much it's going to change the steering head angle.
Yeah.
That's what we need to measure, right? So, if we get the jack under it, right, can you take the weight just off the back wheel just so I can... One set of dog bones. I'll say 20mm. Right, they're a little bit shorter. So, hang on. My fingers is in there.
Right. Sorry.
I can't see. Could you do that one on the other side? Just on the front. Right, so you got it?
Yep.
Right, bounce it up and down a bit. Right. $35.7. So top yoke 35.7 degrees.
And that's just 20 mil.
That's
20 mil
from
lift.
39 degrees.
That's quite a lot.
It is, isn't it? So we've got, hang on, we've got 3 mil down. Down 42. Yeah, that's what we're going to have to do. That's it. That is it.
What's the wheelbase now?
Wheelbase, we haven't changed the wheelbase at all. Well, say that, it is going to be very, very, very slightly smaller, but that's only ever going to help.
Yeah.
Because this angle here, if you was to draw a flat and then from the pivot point down to the axle, essentially all we've done is move this down.
Yes.
So that angle is now less. The wheels have come very, very, very slightly together, but the angle of the forks is now a little bit steeper as well. So combine the two things, and it should be happier at a corner.
Does it look different?
It does look a little bit different.
Can you just hold it so I can...
But it's more about the handling, isn't it? Thing is, I don't want to go mad with it. I don't want to, you know, I've got different dog bones and stuff there as well. If we had a spacer tube that goes between them, we can just switch them out.
Yes.
It's just a spacer tube, that's all it is.
Yeah, it's only the dog bones that are...
So if we need to tweak it about, we can do, but I don't want to just lift the back up willy-nilly.
Which is the only reason why I said let's do it by 20 mil, because that's still quite a lift.
The other one's just an extra 10 mil more. But what I'm thinking is, if we was to build it around, this is definitely going to help, because the things that we wanted to change have changed.
Do you want to try it with the 30 mil?
It'll be good to know what the angle is.
Let's do that while we're both here, because that's a job that's easier for it to be done with two of us.
It's just that I think if we get the rest of the bike all built up, and it's all sort of, and we happen to be running these dog bones, and you go and ride it, and it's like, it still don't really like a corner. All we need to do is to swap out a set of dog bones. And if we need to fine tweak it, we're going to have the ability on the top shock mount to do that as well. But ideally, I want that shock mount to be as close to the frame as we can possibly get it. That would reduce the back. So what I would like to do is to wind that shock mount all the way in and put the 30 mil lift kit on it and see what that's, because then it's a mounting bracket, it's not a lever. Do you know what I mean? We want that mounting pivot point to be as close to the frame as we can get.
So the top shock mount, we need to pull that out and wind it all the way in.
Yeah.
And then put the 30 mil on.
Yeah. Is what I'm
okay.
Just because that way I can see what the difference would be.
Yeah.
That does make sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Let's do that.
Even to someone as stupid as me.
Yeah, 35. So basically with a 30 mil lift kit to bring the back up, and we've wound the top shock mount all the way in. Basically I want this top shock mount to be as close to the frame as we can possibly get it, because if it's long, it turns into a lever, not a mounting point. So we've wound that in as close as we can get it. We stuck a 30 mil lift kit in it, but essentially we've kept the steering head angle.
Yes.
That angle there is important, as we know. I might spend some time in the week just measuring all that back end up and swapping things out so I can get the seat height and various other bits and pieces, but I don't need you sitting on the bike for that. Okay. So I can get that done. But if you look,
that has changed the stance completely.
It does look good, doesn't it? because like the tank sort of flows into the seat. It looks like it's up for it. The headlamp we was chatting about, because the clocks are going to be set into the back of this, but that is going to go.
So the clocks we're going to fabricate, and they're going to be mounted in the back of the headlight, and then something probably along that sort of. Obviously, it'll have to be set for angles and everything else, but something along that sort of line.
It does look cool though, doesn't it? And we got, so that'll be took up with the clock, and all the wiring that we're running can go through these holes, and it'll all be
and
nice and minimal.
And we'll just get it re-chromed.
We'll have all these tabs off, so you can still see all the frame spars and stuff in there.
Yep.
I reckon we're in. I reckon that's it.
It's certainly a downside closer than it was.
But the geometry that we've got, it should handle better. See, trouble is, you ain't going to know until you have a go on it.
No.
That's the thing. But if we make that rear shock adjustable, and we know we can monkey about with dog bones up to a point because of like anti-squat and all that other stuff, but we can monkey with that up to a point, it means we can still run those forks, and it should be a bit happier in a corner.
Yeah.
Which is the main thing.
So on the GIXIT rear shock mount, the top mount that is adjustable. Yeah.
Yeah, and what the bit I'm remaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are we going to work on the basis that that's all the way in, but obviously the thread will be longer, so we can put a nylock on the top of it?
Yeah, basically all I'm going to do is when I make it, I'm going to make that thread long, and then you're going to go out and ride it, and we'll see what's what, and we'll get it set as we want it to be, and then whatever length it needs to be, I'll cut it down and put a cap on top of it so it looks nice.
No, okay.
Right. Where's the ratchet?
I'll put it in the...
Yeah, we need that.
I'll put it in the... I'll tidy it up, sorry.
That's all right.
So, given that this linkage has got a bearing in it, yeah?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just cut these off?
Nah.
And
I'll just make another one. That'll be fine.
what, on your new lathe?
On the new lathe.
Amazing.
Which is really good. I haven't chuffed it. If you haven't seen the lathe videos, I'll stick a link up to the playlist and whatnot. But it
does look incredibly swanky. I had a good look at it on the day that it was received, and it definitely didn't look very nice.
Right, we're up against the frame there.
Maybe I should come down more often, mate.
Well, it'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It would.
We get stuff done. It's good actually. I know.
Now you've stopped mucking about with lathes and GIXIT, or not GIXIT, ASBO. Yeah.
Right.
Then maybe we can carry on with my bike. That is close, isn't it?
It is. I'll stick another one on. Oh, come on. You got the catalog?
Yeah.
Get on.
I remembered where it was.
Shit. Right.
No, I will be down more often.
So, what we're going to do, I think, is if we can figure out where he wants these foot pegs, and then we can get that alley down. I can make them up at any point.
Yeah,
at least...
sorry, it was my fault.
That's all right.
The one piece that he probably really needed and could have carried on working with, I left on my workbench in the garage.
Oh, can you hear that door?
I remembered everything else, all of which is not needed.
What we're going to do is we'll decide where we're going to be shoving these, and then because I can make them at any point then. We know what we're doing with the dog bones, so
yeah, that's made a massive difference.
Space is needed there. We know where the headlamp is going to go.
Yeah.
So I can work on some mounting brackets and stuff for that.
Weren't we going to take it off the...
Yeah, it's coming off the top yoke. But then, so I can get all that sorted. I can get... Oh, we can't put the instruments in because you ain't got the instruments, have you?
Well, I've got the old ones, but
Yeah, you weren't going to run with those though, was you?
yeah, I know. But the problem is, mate, the one speedo that I want, and I've never managed to find anything else like it, is the Motor Gadget one, because it'll all work with the M unit and everything else. But it's 437 quid. I know, it's quite expensive taste. But it does look, it just fits.
Well, we can do that at some point when you get another one. Oh look, we're well clear now. Right, but then what I want to do is literally shove everything on the bike. I mean, like everything. We'll get rid of the brackets that we don't need. We'll stick the M unit in, we'll figure out the cable runs.
You don't really need
We'll get that
in, do we?
headlamp on. Well, I still want to work out cable runs and stuff. But literally, if we've got it, I want to stick it on the bottom. I know I'm going to have to change this number plate thing. That's going to have to come down at a bit more of an angle.
Yeah, but we would.
So I can do that.
So exactly how much do you want to put on? Are we talking about putting coils? Are we talking about
Everything.
everything?
Because see, the thing is, if we need to put another bracket on it to mount something and it's all been powder coated, that's a big problem.
Yeah.
Whereas I'd rather stick literally everything on it and build it as a nasty paint job bike, and know that we've got all the tabs and everything else where we need it, and then I'll just take it all off, get it painted and powder coated and whatnot, and then I'll just shove it all back on again. So there's actually quite a lot of
So
stuff.
are we going to swap the levers over, or are we going to leave it just...
Everything is going on it. Everything.
No, but I've got push levers, haven't I?
Yeah, we'll stick them on. Right, go on then. Jump on.
What do you mean?
Jump on it and stick your foot on the peg. That is where it was. That's exactly where the old one was. So you're probably not going to like it. Do you still not like it? Words, Steve-O, use words. Whilst you're doing that, I'll make coffee.
No, I think I'd still like it to move a little bit.
Where? Where? What? Down? Back? Forwards? What?
Well, I have damaged knees.
You got
so-
gammy knees. We know. Do you take
Damaged
sugar?
knees?
It's
No,
been
I don't.
ages.
No, I don't.
You don't?
So, if possible, I'd probably like it to go back a little bit and down a little bit.
See, that's what we thought. And that's
But
why
I'm
that.
mindful of the fact that we've still got to obviously have clearance.
Yeah.
Because obviously I'm going to be grinding the hero blobs off. What are you laughing at, you bastard?
Is it pink and fluffy where you live as well?
Yeah, there's unicorns.
Aye. Right. Okay. So, any idea how much? It's a bit bad when you've got to break your coffee up, isn't it?
That's good quality coffee that I bought.
Well, it's solid.
None of your shit.
That's about a spoon. Ish.
I don't know, mate. I'd say half a centimetre back.
Well, you ain't gonna notice half a centimetre.
Alright, 10 mil back, 10 mil down.
All right. Stick it on the stand, have it off, and we'll drill some more holes in it then. You do take milk, don't you?
Yeah. What?
Right, okay. Jump on then. How's that?
That feels a lot more comfy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Right.
That back a little bit. It's just at the point where my knee feels tight. That's a lot more comfy. Does that look roughly in the?
Let's move your foot just a sec. So middle of the pin's about 35 up. Right, middle of the pin on Asbo is 32, so you've actually got a little bit more clearance than I do on the Bandit.
Ideal.
So that bodes quite well for a track day then, doesn't it? It's probably just as well to have a little bit more room, because they're going to be solid pegs, whereas those ones collapse.
Yeah.
And you can get them on the floor basically. So, you know.
I think that's a good compromise from.
Make it to that pattern, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, all right then.
And you remember we're just doing like a simple triangular radius triangle.
Yeah. We can do that.
Don't have to worry about that now. It's just one of the things that's always annoyed me, that's all. There's got to be a nicer way of routing it and a nicer way of...
Be nice if it kind of came up like that and went, you know, in here instead of.
Be nice if you could route it behind the headlight and through.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Don't worry about it now. It's just one of those things that has always annoyed me.
Well, we can shorten them up.
Yeah.
You're probably going to replace it anyway, aren't you? We just get a shorter cable and see how we go from there. If we need to shorten it, we shorten it.
Yeah.
And this is just going through a bent bit of tube anyway to guide it. So the number plate.
Well, we don't need to change it. We just need to.
No, I just need to drop that angle down a bit.
Otherwise, I can see the policeman not being very happy.
Top shot mount.
Yeah. What pattern? Because we're going to have to discuss what pattern we're going to use on the rear set mount, because we haven't decided on a shape yet, have we? Other than it's a triangle.
I'm just going to keep it simple. See, with this big bit here, it's all filled in and it's blank and it's plain and everything else. So I reckon if I don't like that bit showing, and I don't like a big old gap down there.
Flush.
So we'll get it as close as we can to. I'll probably bring it up to here so it covers up this back bracket.
Almost as though that is the flat side, and then you've got it coming back and going back like that.
And it'll basically start from about there.
Yeah.
Come down, follow a curve around the peg, and then down so it covers up that bottom bit, and then just real tight up against the frame again.
Yeah, just don't forget it's different on each side of the swing arm.
Yeah, I'm going to make it look the same. As far as this side goes, I run normally race pattern shift. Are you going to want race pattern shift or road shift on this?
No, we'll just leave it as road shift.
Road shift. So down for first, up for the rest of the box, yeah?
Well, that's a good point.
I just got used.
Can we change it?
I just got used to it. Well, it just means.
Changing the selector fork, isn't it?
No. All it would mean doing is because you can't normally. You would just flip the linkage round that comes out of the gearbox.
Yeah.
So you spin it 380 degrees, but you can't because you've got all this gubbins down here with the side stand and whatnot.
Yeah.
So the only other way to do it would be to change this lever so it comes up the top.
Ah, right, yep.
So, but if you don't use race pattern shift, don't go for race pattern shift because you'll be winging it through the gearbox and instinct will take over and you'll suddenly change down a gear when you don't want to. That's a brown trouser moment.
I know, I did it on a KTM RC8.
The engine doesn't like it, yeah. All right.
Yep.
So,
a bit of poo came out, definitely.
Gear shift.
We'll leave the gear shift just in road.
Road, okay.
Yeah.
So the headlight, we know what we're doing there, and we're coming off the top yoke, yeah?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, yeah.
Try and keep it all clean and tidy. I personally vote you go with those clip-ons. We can tidy them up, because I don't like that. So what I'm thinking, you see how...
well, that's going.
No, but you see how this is just like plain?
Yeah.
All I'll do is I'll tick up that hole, and then I'll dress it down.
That's where the mounting point is for the reservoir.
Oh, right, okay.
So...
right, well that will stay then, I won't tick that up.
Oh, sorry, picture of my...
Right, so this is going to have to go on here someplace.
Yeah. There's not a lot of room though, is there?
Thing is, you've got the reservoir on top of it. That needs to obviously be uppermost. And it's like, how do you do it? Because I'm thinking if it went in there, I mean, we have got space and we can make up the lever to. But then you're pushing it down, it needs to go up, so. It's going to be a tricky one, isn't it?
It is. Unless we follow the lead of the Bandit, and they don't, and they're going to be slightly different on either side, and you use that back where that goes. That's got to be the pivot point.
It goes on there, isn't it? But it's. I don't really want this.
No, I know.
I mean, the thing is, you're going to have.
I don't know how.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, no. Because it was difficult enough before.
Essentially, that's going to go. And you're going to have a heel guard that comes up, so we can mount it off. I think we need to make the heel guard all part and parcel of the mounting.
It's going to look pants, though, isn't it? It's going to be bloody massive. And now, because of where we've repositioned the foot peg, how are you going to do it? There's not enough room.
Is there any reason this has to be upright? I mean, I know it's got the reservoir and stuff in there. It's going to have a pickup point. The banjo comes in the top. Could I set it at an angle?
As far as I'm aware, yeah, but how would you fill it up?
Well, that's what I mean. You'd undo it, top it up, do the bleeding and whatever else, and then bolt it back in place. Would that work? Well, you're going to have a where's the pickup in it? Have you had the top off this yet?
No.
Because we're going to have a pickup down here somewhere, aren't we?
What do you mean?
Well, from the reservoir into the master cylinder.
Yeah, but don't forget we've got to put a
yeah, hydraulic
banjo,
switch. Yeah, hydraulic switch.
on it as well.
Because I'm thinking have it like that. Because then I can hide it.
But I don't know whether you can run. I don't think you can run these.
It ain't going to be totally flat.
No, but I thought they didn't work properly if they weren't.
Well, as long as the pickup from the reservoir to the master cylinder is covered, then you'd be all right, wouldn't you? It would be good to know to what angle you can run them before you start running into trouble. So there's a little bit of homework for you. Google it. But it would be nice if that could be built into the hanger, you know, into the actual footrest hanger.
Yeah.
And we can have some mounting holes, and I can inset the Allen screws into, you know, so it's all nice and flush and stuff. But then you have a heel guard that covers it, because you don't want to be scraping it with your boots or anything, do you?
Well, this has always been part of it. I didn't want it to be on view. Right, so that's another thing done.
So 4 into 2, and then if I'm going to make the headers, we really want to join 1 and 4 together into a link pipe, and then 2 and 3 together into a link pipe for scavenging and all that,
yeah.
right? They go into a collector, so you can have 2 link pipes, which we're going to need to figure out how to route them, because that's going to decide on how the collector goes. And then we're on about into a single, like, conical exhaust.
I think 1 each side.
Yeah, 1 each side, but originally we was talking about doing link pipe into 2 cans.
Yeah, but
that ain't going to work.
From the discussion that we sort of had earlier and when we were looking at the stance, it's great, but I'm not sure whether it will look right now.
Because this is quite bulky compared to the rest of it, and you start adding 2 tailpipes on here. That's just going to look
I
wrong.
love the way that it looks, but I think, like I say, the discussion that we were having, I just don't think it will work.
Right, so...
And looking at it now, if you imagine like just a single, not short, but a single conical exhaust coming out each side.
Back to canonical again.
I said conical that time.
You did very well.
Yeah, it's easy for you to say. And also, that works roughly in line with where the number plate is and the rear axle.
So no further back than there.
Well, certainly no further back than where the rear axle is. But yeah, I mean...
Car falls in line, what,
Yeah.
up at an angle or straight?
It'll be up at an angle.
Up at a little angle.
Not a particularly steep one. It will just be like a relatively shallow angle to feel that.
It's just got to clear your foot. You've got like a nice little dip in here anyway.
Yeah,
ain't
we
you?
haven't on the other side, but...
No, but if it kind of lands right and we get them equally spaced each side, then
yeah, I don't know whether the linkage is going to cause any issues.
we just have to play about with it. I don't like that goes up at the back.
Slightly, yeah.
It's a stupid thing though, isn't it? That's the only bit I don't like. It would be not, because when you're sitting on it, all this is dead flat. But that bit ain't. But there you go, that's what it is. Right, okay.
But that stance makes it look so much better.
I am liking it. I am liking it. So, petrol tank cat. We got one?
I have.
Cool. Okay.
We'll get
So
a nice. We'll make a nice one. I'll get some extra plate.
Okay. I think we're pretty much there.
Because there's no reason why we can't make something using the original mounts, and make one out of Ali.
Right.
To see you.
We'll sort it. We'll sort it. Right. So as far as stuff that we got to chuck on it, bloody oil cooler surround as well. I do need to finish. I've been avoiding it, but I do need to get it done. I know what I'm doing
The
now.
oil cooler saga continues.
I hate that bloody thing. I really do.
Well, why don't we just get a bit of fucking angle and just mount it like I did before?
It's not beating me, and that was horrible.
It was.
So that's getting done. Right. Okay.
Hugger.
Oh yeah, hugger. Where's the hugger? Steve-O was talking about a hugger because it looks a bit unfinished, and that's the GSXR one.
I mean, that's the original GIXIT one.
Well, I'm kind of voting just use that. We can get it painted black, so it's all in keeping with the swing arm, and that's going to be gloss anyway.
Yeah.
And it fits. It does change the look of the back though. Don't you think? I think it's nice.
Do you think To me, it looks unfinished without it, but do we want it to look like that?
It's more a case of, do you want it to look like that?
Don't ask me, it's my first day back.
All these big decisions.
Honestly, what do you think? I just don't know. Yes, it's better than without it, but is it Cafe Racer? Probably not. But is anything that we put on it going to be?
It's a take on Cafe, isn't it? It's not.
Oh yeah.
Asbo will be proper Cafe. This ain't. This is like modern Cafe. Because you was talking about doing it in metal, which we could do, but
I was only on about having something that was really quite short. Charles.
top it up a bit. I don't know why, but it's a pet peeve when you get a cup of coffee and it's only half full with coffee. Were you?
All right, duly noted. Anything else?
Well, you know, don't use all the milk next time. It's alright, I said he could. Right then, so we've got a whole list, look. Well, actually, it's not all of that.
It's been quite a productive day though, isn't it?
Well, the thing is, today it's just been like a massive bloody catch-up. I'd forgotten some of this stuff. I really had.
Right.
But anyway, we've got a suspension
not
sorted.
being around again.
It might be. I don't know. Right, okay, so geometry sorted. Foot pegs we got the right position for. We know where the headlight's going.
Yes.
So number plate, I need to change the angle of it because it's too flat now. We jack the back up, which is fair enough. Top shock mount, we know is going to be wound all the way in, and that fits the geometry.
Yes.
So I just need to make another one that's got a longer thread on it. Longer.
Yep.
And I'm going to make up some sort of cap, like a dome head cap that's got some spanner flats on it that we can use as a locking nut on the other side of it, just to neaten it up, and it'll keep the weather off the threads and all that stuff. Gear shift, we're definitely going road pattern, but I'm going to need to make another one anyway, because that one ain't going to do. I don't understand how come the little bracket that goes onto the gearbox shaft is like, it's like 45 degrees, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just the way that it is. That is.
So we need to change that, because that's, you would have it 90 degrees surely. Well, we're going to try it.
Mr. Suzuki spent thousands of hours designing that, and you're basically saying it's wrong.
Well, it's different to my Bandit.
Is it?
Mine's not at that angle. I'm sure it isn't.
It is the same.
But it's going to push more one way than it's going to pull the other.
Well, that's probably just because it's in the wrong position.
Well, there you go, see, so we do need another shaft.
Oh.
So that's just wrong. Toe guard on the back, do you want it part of the swing arm or not? Do you want it bolt off and on a bolt, or do you want it all part and parcel so you just powder coat the whole lot in one go? I can do either. Actually, instead of just doing it skinny, we could do it so it's got a bit of depth to it. That could be quite cool.
Bolt on off, I think.
I knew you was going to say that. All right.
We could. I'm not a.
I might make one.
Let's get a pattern,
and then you can decide.
Yeah.
Right, exhaust. 4x2. We know the basic layout. Just need to get some tube and have a crack at it. But I do want to get it down so, you know, even if it's just down to the collectors, that's fine. But it would be good to get that far.
Yeah, because the biggest issue we've got is the fact that the sump is offset in it.
I think we're going to be all right now. I really do. I think we're good, because we're going to be coming down the side rails, aren't we?
That's the plan, yeah.
So I reckon we're going to be all right. And then there's the bloody all cooler surround. Right, so I've got.
Sorry, the bloody what?
That is going to be the last thing I'll do as well. I hate that. So that's what I'm doing.
But what about the 5 weeks you spent fabricating the?
I did a crap job and it looked horrible, so it got chopped up. That's it. Job done.
I've got to be honest. I wasn't very happy when you chopped it up, but I wasn't here, so I can't really say anything.
I was over the moon.
No, fair enough.
Right.
So what are we going to do with the all cooler surround? What's your thoughts? Completely and utterly redesigned, or
I'm
still going to box it in?
I'm still going to box it in, but it's going to be real minimal. I know what I'm doing. You'll just have to wait and see.
But again, I've forgotten what bits I've got and what bits I bought and what bits I brought down and what bits I haven't.
I forgot what was in the box. I haven't looked in the box for ages, mate.
Mate, the box is full of goodies. M unit, indicators, front and rear.
What I think we should do.
Brembo RCS levers.
What I want to do is to just throw everything we've got on the bike. I mean, literally everything. That's what I want to do. I mean, yeah, we're going to do it carefully. We ain't going to scratch stuff.
That's my only worry.
Well, let me do it then, because you're ham-fisted. No, I'm joking. But if we get everything on the bike, then we know what tabs we need where and what we don't.
Remember now why I don't come down a lot, because of your relentless fucking mocking.
Well, stop doing it then.
One, my chunky goodness, and two...
What's wrong with chunky goodness?
Nothing, if you're chunky.
Oh, you like chunky goodness?
Do you really think we're at that point? I don't really want to put the levers on.
Well,
or the throttle, because if they get scratched,
it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine.
We've got a unit.
I mean, that's the least of the worries, really. But it's things that, I mean, the big fabrication stuff is obviously exhaust, which is, you know,
but we have
cut it, bend it, tack it, blah blah blah. And I know what I'm doing there, so I can crack on and do it. I just need to get the tube. Even if it's just down to collector, the rest of it is easy. We know what we're doing with the hugger, we know what we're doing with the headlamp, all that other sort of stuff. It's just a case of putting everything on so we can check everything fits, everything's got clearance, everything has got a mounting point. Because I don't want all this powder coated and then suddenly think, oh yeah, we've got to add another mounting point.
Yeah, that would
just be stupid.
I think I might even cry at that point.
Yeah, we need to get the carbs on. You need to decide what air filters you're running and all that stuff.
I think I'm going to go on the safe route, and rather than have individual pod filters, I'll go with duals. So
fine.
2 and 2.
Whatever, but we're going to need to stick all that stuff on.
Carbs were meant to come down with me today, and that's another thing that I forgot. I've had, but they need to go through. I've had a bit of a job at cleaning them, but they need to go through the
yeah, we can do that.
Washer.
But I'm not too bothered if it's clean or anything. I just want it on and fitting, so we know we've got room and clearance and blah blah blah.
Come back down.
Yeah, all that stuff. But, you know, shove the battery in it and make sure we've got clearance and we're not touching the underside of the tank and all that. I mean, I know it's been fiberglass and stuff, but I still want to get it all on and just make sure everything is as it should be.
Yeah.
And then it can all come off again. Strip it right down, you can have the engine, I'll weld the frame up, and we can start getting stuff ready for paint. I mean, there's weeks worth of work in it, but I think that's what we need to be doing. So that's it, that's probably where we're going to leave it today. It has been a day well spent. It's been like a massive catch up on stuff and where we was with the bike, and you know, just sorting stuff out as to what comes next and what's going to go where and what it's going to look like and how we want it and all that other sort of stuff.
Changes of ideas.
Well, yeah, but you know, it's kind of
evolving.
We need to know what we're doing. I've got a whole list of stuff now which I can be getting on with, which is good, and we know what Steve-O's availability is going to be, so we know when he's going to be down and when he's in, so we can crack on and work to that sort of schedule. So there is quite a lot I am loving the way that the bike looks with the tank, and now it's in the right geometry and all that sort of stuff.
The stance is absolutely just, it's 100% different from what it was when we walked in this morning.
Yeah. Before it was a very long, low bike that just wasn't going to work, but now I think if you look at the measurements that we took and everything else, I think we're in. I do think we're. I think
we're a hell of a lot closer than what we were.
So, I'm back on GIXIT full time now.
Yay!
Lathe is sorted. A few little bits and pieces to do, but I'm going to do those in the background, so you won't have to suffer any more of those videos. Back on the bike and getting it done.
Yes.
Something else that's been going on. You would have noticed I've changed the look of the videos a little bit with transitions and stuff. I quite like it, but I would be interested to see what you think. Drop us a comment, say if you love it or hate it. I'll probably ignore you, but drop us a comment anyway, because it would be just trying to make them look a little bit betterer, basically. Betterer. So that's what we're doing. No, it is nice to have you back.
It's nice to be back.
This is longer.
Yes.
And greater.
Yes. It's been a stressful period, mate.
Yeah, it's been a while. Anyway, Steve-O is back, so we're getting it done. But that's where we're leaving it this week. Thank you ever so much for joining us. Loving all the comments, so do keep them coming. And we'll see you again next time.
Good to see you, folks.